Hello and welcome to a comparison between the official LEGO Hulkbuster, the Sheng Yuan Hulkbuster, the Lele Hulkbuster, and the DeCool Hulkbuster. And also it's going to be a giveaway, doesn't matter where you are, but here's the deal. I am not responsible for the item as soon as it leaves my hand. If I'm sending it out to wherever, as soon as I put the stamp on it, and as soon as it goes to the post office, I'm not responsible for what you get. I'm not responsible if it gets damaged. I'm not responsible for if you do anything to it that affects you in any way. My responsibilities are zero after that. So it's up to you if you want to participate or not. And how do you participate? Well, here's the first one. In order to get the Sheng Yuan version, you have to go to Facebook. I'll be posting an image. I'll take a photo of all Hulkbusters standing right next to each other, and you're gonna have to decide which one is which. I'll leave the photo up for a week. I'll be posting this video on the 13th, so that's a Sunday, and I'll leave that image up for a week. And after a week's over, I'll be randomly picking a person who's identified all of them correctly. The second way is a lot easier. All you have to do is count how many separate times my teddy bear Digger shows up in this video, and leave a comment below. And again, randomly picked, you just need to leave a comment saying Digger and then a number, and see how many times each pops up, and then I'll randomly pick one. And finally, the way to get the DeCool Hulkbuster is to leave a comment below. Again, these will be randomly picked, but I'll also be going through some of the best comments in a future video. Put in 3 different packs, 8 packs of minifigures that have not yet been done by any bootleg or official LEGO or Mega Bloks or any brick brands out there that you want to see, and I'll randomly pick one again, and then you will get the DeCool one. So good luck to all of you. Anyway, move on to the actual review. First things first, let's take a quick look at the packaging. Here we have the DeCool one that we just saw, because the video is still kind of fresh on the internet, and it's it's pretty much the biggest one. If I to close all the flaps, you see it's the same thickness as the Sheng Yuan one, but a bit longer, and it has no way of sealing itself, just like official LEGO box. So on that end, it fails. The Lele one is the closest to official LEGO. It's also the smallest, so Lele wins in that department. As for what you see on the cover, all of them are slightly different from the official LEGO one. It's as if they took different images themselves and repurposed it together. Lele and Sheng Yuan has similar backgrounds, so I assume they stole that from the same place. The DeCool one is a completely different area, and you can see they've arranged all the figures in the same position, but they have different lighting and different effects, so they're all their own photos. They did not take LEGO's box directly. On the top of Lele and Sheng Yuan, you see they posted the Sheng Yuan's posted 1 by 1 of the Hero Jumper, Super Jumper, and the Iron Man minifigure. Lele's on an angle, and DeCool just puts the brick separator. And again, the most useful one here is the Sheng Yuan one, because you actually see what size minifigures are for those who aren't, first time buying one of these things, or LEGO. Whereas the Sheng Yuan one is on an angle, so you can't really tell the exact size, and the DeCool one, you do have a brick separator, so you can kind of tell what size these things will be, because you do have 2 studs there on the top. And DeCool, just like always, is the only one who ever puts names on these things, so they win there in terms of the name department. And the rest of the art style, all of them have copied official LEGO very well. Splitting these around. Now, even though Lele has the smallest box, it has absolutely no problem holding the entire thing in there without taking it apart. You can see it's also thinner than both this and the DeCool boxes, so I like that. Now on the back here, the images, you look at the Sheng Yuan one, again they're all placed in similar positions as the official LEGO one, and all of them showcase the little gimmicks and movements of the set. The DeCool one looks a bit weird, Scarlet Witch looks a bit weird, but everything else looks pretty fine. But the Lele one just looks far too cartoony and far too shiny, kind of looks weird. And also Hulk has his head turned there, even though the Lele does not feature head turning Hulk. So the colors are weird, and it's false advertising. That's not cool. And yeah. So there you go. So in terms of size, Lele wins. And in terms of just being the nicest box, I think Yuan wins. All of them have a cardboard tray inside that holds everything in there. Like I said, Lele and Yuan can close up. However, DeCool also has a tray, but actually has it in a laminated white plastic look and feel. So yeah, all of them are fine. All of them are pretty much the same tightness. As you can see here, the inside cardboard box. The Lele one's the thickest as well, so it makes it a bit more sturdy. And the Sheng Yuan is also quite thick. However, the DeCool one is very thin, so it doesn't hold your toy as well as the other ones. Next we have the instructions. The first one is DeCool. It's the smallest in terms of size from the front, and then Sheng Yuan's a bit wider, and then the Lele one's a lot bigger. The Lele one also has a lot less pages though, and it actually feels lighter in the hand. These two feel a lot heavier. The paper quality of here is shiny, and shiny. So all of them have good paper quality. Now, the DeCool one advertises other sets on the back, and the one thing to note with the DeCool one is that all of the images look slightly blurry, and that's probably because every single image that I can see, or I can tell, is a direct copy of the official Lego one. They just scanned it and slapped it in here, so whatever the Lego instructions would look like, it looks pretty much the same here. Come on, stand there. Next we have the Sheng Yuan one right here. You can see instead of blue they have yellow inside. The print is a lot darker. It's print also sharp. All the details are very sharp. And just to see some of the pieces and joints, they have little arrows pointing on some of them. So yeah. And they have some arrow assistant in their version of the book. Finally we have the Lele one, which is bigger, but they also compress a lot more into a single page. And you can see here they've actually faded out all the old pieces, so you can see sort of where you can see just the new piece in each step. And I think that's really useful for when you're building. You can separate the colors apart. You're not going to get confused. So I like this a lot. So in terms of instructions, I think the Lele one's the best. The colors are still sharp, still printed very, very. No blurs or anything, and it's a lot going on. The second one is the Sheng Yuan one. It's got little arrows pointing where to build things, and the DeCool one also has that, but the images are slightly blurry, and kind of feel like the colors might be slightly off. The only upside to the DeCool one is that the black plastic has the white outlines, whereas Sheng Yuan, because it's all dark and stuff, even the black pieces have a dark outline, so it's kind of hard to see sometimes what edges you're going to be stamping down. Next part is the stickers. Now DeCool does not use any stickers, so we're not going to look at that just yet. I'm going to go ahead with Sheng Yuan and Lele. And this is the Sheng Yuan sheet. As you can see here, the color is very close to the official Lego. However, it's lacking any metallic coloring, and you can see on the edges there, on the any lines that are not straight, you can see there's a bit of a pixelated issue going on. There's a bit of sort of like bumps on the straight line, and that's because it's a lower resolution image. Now, the Lele one does have metallic coloring, and it does not suffer from the issues of slightly lower resolution compared to the Sheng Yuan one. It's actually doing a lot better. However, you can see the color is wrong. Aside from the silver, everything looks slightly darker and slightly more brownish. So that's the difference there. Now, finally taking in the DeCool comparison right here. You can see that, well, this one's printed on, so that's great. The colorings are pretty much similar. However, the metallic coloring is a lot more rough than the official Legos. Don't know how well you can see that, but the metallic coloring is a lot more bigger dots on the silver coloring compared to the Legos' smoother look. Now, with all these compared, I do like the DeCool one the most because A, it's not a sticker, it's already printed on, I don't need to apply it myself and mess up, or anyone else won't mess up. I think the Sheng Yuan one's the worst because it's lacking metallic coloring. Even though the overall color's the same, it's lacking metallic coloring and it's suffering from low resolution, so it's a lot of bumpy edges. So it goes Lego, and then DeCool, because you don't have to stick it, Lele, and then finally Sheng Yuan. So Sheng Yuan really loses on this front with the printed / sticker area. Next we come and compare the Hulk containment units. So which one is which? So this is the DeCool one, this is the Lego one, this is the Lele one, and this is the Sheng one. First problem we're going to have with the Lele one. See, this falls over, this one falls over, this one falls over. This one does not. That's the problem is it doesn't plug all the way in. You can see there's a little gap there. It does not go all the way in. That's what she said. And apart from that, all of them have really good coloring. In fact, it's quite hard to tell the difference without touching them, between especially these two or this one before you apply the sticker. Now this one has a smooth surface here. The official Lego has a little matte sort of finish, like a little bumpy finish, and DeCool has that, and Sheng has that. So Lele even has smooth plastic there, so that's slightly off. The coloring here, DeCool is closest there to the Lego one. Sheng looks a bit foggy, and the Lele one looks a bit foggy. Sheng one as well. So DeCool, in terms of coloring and actual plastic, DeCool is the closest in visual to the official Lego one. Lele coloring is just a little bit off, and also the surface is a little bit off, and the Sheng one comes close second. It's just a tiny bit off. The rest of these joints there, all of them are just fine. They're smooth enough, they're not too loose. The whole thing doesn't fall apart. Neither of them fall apart, but if you're looking for something that's the most accurate visually, it's the DeCool one. And then next we have Sheng, and then finally we have Lele, which is quite a far bit away, as well as losing functionality compared to the official Lego. Next we have the Hulkbusters. Now again, just like the previous one, Lego, DeCool, Lele, and Sheng. I might not be placing them in that order for the photo on Facebook, so I'm gonna be a little bit careful. I might be. Maybe there's only 4 here. I could be put in the same position. You're gonna have to guess. Anyway, so here's the deal. Sheng right off the bat is you can see the gears here in black plastic color instead of the sort of yellowy color, unlike the official one. So these two got that right. However, none of them have gotten the gold pieces correctly. All of them do have gold molded into the plastic. However, the Sheng one is a bit more orangey. The DeCool one's a bit more yellow. There's like less gold in it, so because they must have given up, maybe it's too expensive or something for them to do that. And the Lele one just looks, again, very flat. It looks like the Sheng one but without gold. So the Lele one's a mixture of both the DeCool one and the Sheng one. There's almost no gold there, and it's far more orange than the official one. Next we have the print on the mask. Now the DeCool one is the closest in terms of color and sharpness to the official one. However, their gold, again, the metallic coloring is messed up. They just can't print it as well as the Lego one, and as a result it looks like it didn't dry quick enough, so there's more sort of like holes and gaps between the gold. So the whole thing looks a bit rougher and looks darker because there's more gaps in between the print, with the the red coloring showing through the gold print. The Lele one, if you saw the review, it's complete crap because it's got the same issue as the DeCool one. It's rough and it's going through. It's printed slightly off-centered, so he's always looking to his right-hand side. And so yeah, that's not good. And another thing with the cracking gold means that the white eyes that they print on top of the DeCool is also a bit messed up. It's an easy fix. Just get a bit of white paint, just get it over, or Gundam marker pen, which I really like using. Just color over it. It should be fine. The Lele one as well, the eyes are very dark, they just didn't print enough. However, the best one here is actually the Sheng print. Now the color is slightly different to the Lego one, it's a bit brighter because Sheng actually uses white paint and Lego keeps cheaping out on that. So we have a sharp image on the Sheng helmet, a lot cleaner, a lot brighter. And another thing, the Sheng one does not suffer from the little bumpiness of the gold texture on the print. Even the official Lego one does. It has a little bit of that issue where the gold is just not quite smooth. If I just zoom in there on the face there, see that? And I'll just pick up the official one. You see there, right there. See, well, the official one definitely looks great. You can see the gold isn't quite consistent. It's not like a smooth surface. But if you look at the Sheng one, you can see it's completely smooth, completely sharp. So I actually think the Sheng one has better printing here than the official Lego, which is like, bloody hell, Lego, what are you doing? You cost so much more and yet you messed up. Next, the actual coloring of the plastic. All of them are pretty much the same. I really can't. I'm really trying really hard to find the difference between the red coloring. The Lego one is shiny, shows the Sheng, Yuan, and Lele, but the DeCool one is a bit more matte in color. Now, of course, you still have to, apart from the color, you talk about all the cuts and the molding, and the DeCool one has obvious marks. As always, DeCool always feels a bit rough, so you can see a lot of the molding injection trims and stuff. So if you do get the DeCool one, it might be a good idea to get a nail filer or a nail clip or something, just to trim the some of the extra plastic that they taken where the plastic piece came out of the mold. Sheng, Yuan one and Lele doesn't really suffer from that issue. I don't really see many extra bumps anywhere, so they're okay there. Finally, the shooters. The official Lego one obviously shoots. The DeCool one, let's find out. Does he shoot? Oh, let me just hold that. Yes, he does. Does the Lele one shoot? Kind of more like drops than shoots. Finally, the Sheng, Yuan one, does he shoot? Also kind of just drops. So the winner here is of course Lego, and then DeCool, and then Lele, and then Sheng, Yuan. Now, with all of these, the most consistent in terms of movement and clutch is of course the Lego. The Lele one feels the loosest one out of the lot. But you see he's still standing fine. There's not too many issues there being the loosest one, but in the long run that might be an issue when when he gets too loose to hold up straight in the long run. Sheng, Yuan one moves just fine, and DeCool one moves just fine as well. Now, but here's one thing: the Sheng, Yuan stuff. More often than not, the little cross-shaped Technic bars, they're usually far too tight on the Sheng, Yuan ones, and this is no different here. And so when building it, if you mess up and try to pull it back apart, you're going to be hurting your hands or breaking it. The bars are so much more tight and rough than Lego and the other brands. The DeCool ones sometimes suffer that issue as well, but this one seems to be okay. It's not too tight, not too loose. And again, the Lele ones are usually the loosest joints, so you got to take that into consideration. So out of all this lot, I like the Lego one the most, but I like Sheng, Yuan's faceplate the most. The worst one here is the Lele one. It's got the wrong colors, it's got the sort of loose joints, and even though its stud shooter is still kinda okay, it doesn't make up for anything. The worst one is the Lele Hulkbuster. The second one is the DeCool one because it feels that bit more rough, and the second best is the Sheng, Yuan one. So even though the Sheng, Yuan has the really tight cross Technic bars, and even though its stud shooter isn't that good, the good print and the good clutch overall is decent. And once you build it, if you don't intend to take it apart again, or you're really careful and don't mess up during the first build, the Technic bars shouldn't worry you as much. Third one is DeCool. DeCool does have a few things that are better than the Sheng, Yuan one, but the overall color and presentation just pushes it down a little bit. Like I said, the last one is Lele. Oh, and speaking of loose joints on Lele, under certain angles, whoops, loose joints. Next we look at the Hulk Big Fig. Lego again, the second one there, you see it's got flat feet now and printed because they want to save money and they're making far more big figs now. Other big figs, they don't want to have any toes there in case they need the part for someone who's wearing boots. So instead they just printed toes there. Every single other bootleg uses the base body of the previous Hulk, so they still have the toes molded in. Now Lele, even though it has toes molded in, they still bothered to print it, even though the color is slightly darker than official Lego. So you got printed, and yeah, the joint wise, the loosest one again is Lele, but not to the point where anything falls down. DeCool has that slight issue there where it's not loose, but it has sort of about like a five angle there. So if you move this up, it's got this tiny little area where it can move just a little bit, like it'll just drop down a little bit. So that's kind of annoying. Sheng, Yuan does not have that issue, and in fact it's very tight. Official Lego Hulk has a smooth matte finish. Sheng, Yuan is shiny, and Lele is even shinier. DeCool one I meant. The Sheng one is shiny, but not that shiny, and it still has a slight matte texture. So in terms of plastic visually, it's the closest. In terms of the print, the closest print is the DeCool one on the face. The Sheng one is far too big, and the Lele one, again, the colors are slightly off, just like on the toes. The sort of the green is a lot darker. And in terms of pants, all of them aren't really that much the same. In terms of coloring, I say, again, DeCool is probably closest, but the sharpest print is Sheng. And because all of them use a slightly different shape, they haven't printed the pants in the same way or same shape, because all of the other ones still have the ripped pants texture from the original release Hulk, so that's very different for all of them. And since they're all using the same mold as the previous one, DeCool and Lele have, instead of Lego where they actually have the hair stop on the body, both DeCool and Lele have the old mold, so they actually cut the top of the back of the torso there and let the hair go in. And the gap looks kind of weird on the DeCool one, and just looks hilariously bad on the Sheng one, on the Lele one. The gap is so huge, and you can see that all the mold areas are very different from the official Lego one. So that's got that mold there. Just look at the side. The DeCool joints are okay hidden. The Lele joints are not hidden at all. So many lines and gaps, and the pants aren't even printed all the way to the edge. And the Sheng one, while the joints are quite visible, they are molded sealed tight, so they're not going to break anything, but they are quite obvious to see. And of course, finally, the Sheng Hulk does have rotating head, so, and removable hair. So if I take the DeCool one and Lele one away and put them right next to the official Hulk, you can see it's the same height. Hair is a lot shinier than the official one, but the plus side is he can still rotate his head. Now the new hair shape does stop it from rotating, but at least you can still have Hulk looking slightly left and right without looking silly. So I like that a lot. I like the head articulation a lot. And Sheng, I keep saying, if you can add a joint there just so you can rotate the hips, that would be amazing. So in conclusion, again, the worst one is the Lele one. And the second bad one is DeCool, so Sheng comes second, just because it looks closest to the official one, because it's not that shiny, and has the bonus of the rotating head. If you don't care about the rotating head, you just want something that looks the closest to the official one, then you might want to go with the DeCool one. Even though it's a lot more shiny, the print on the face is sort of more or less the same size and same look as the official one. Next we have the different Scarlet Witches. So yeah, again, the second one is Lego. The one on the left that I'm just rotating the head just to match the other ones is the DeCool one, and next to Lego is Lele, and then finally Sheng. Lele, as always, is the figure who's had a sunburn. So yeah, her skin color is more orangey, just so you can see that. You can also see that the print on the Lele one is a bit thicker, like she's got some Botox going on, and also the white dots for her eyes are in the slightly off-centered. Plastic coloring, DeCool comes close, and Sheng comes close as well for skin color. In terms of the body, all of them have roughly the same coloring. Now the print, none of them have it right on the torso. All of them have wrong skin color. Again, Lele one's the worst, legs and body with wrong skin color. Sheng comes close-ish, but the coloring on the shirt under the hoodie is more blue. So DeCool comes closest, apart from the skin color, whereas Sheng skin color is a bit closer. Leg print, Lele's just abysmal. It's off-center, the skin coloring is wrong, and also very smudgy. It's terrible. The DeCool one comes close, but Sheng one is a lot brighter, in fact a bit too bright, and looks like she's got some issue with her skin, or maybe she's wearing stockings. And of course the DeCool one has the female hip shape body. Take that hair off. We're gonna look at all of them from the back. all of them have decent hair pieces more. You can see all of them are pretty sharp. The DeCool one's a bit softer. Well, all the other odd blue ones are a bit softer, but they're still sharp enough to look decent. Sheng one does have a pretty big molding line at the bottom of the hair, so that's not cool. And in terms of the face print on the back, again, Lele is just completely wrong, completely off-centered, and wrong skin color, so it's just terrible. The back body print on all of them are pretty consistent again, but the Lele one is just off-centered a little bit, just wrong. And if you like the female hip in the mold, the DeCool one is okay, and Sheng one is copied pretty well in terms of the back as well. And but yeah, the DeCool one does have slightly sharper shoulders, and the Sheng one's accurate to the official Lego. Lele one is also a bit sharper, just like the DeCool one. So here, so in terms of the figures, the best one, of course, is Lego. The second one, I would go for Sheng Yuan, unless you like the hip joint, and just don't bother with the Lele one. It's just absolutely ugly. And finally, both Lele and DeCool does have the issue of having the legs not quite tight. If I was to just push these two legs together, you can see it does quite easily. So that means the peg inside the hips might not be that strong. So that's something to also notice. Next we have Ultron here. I've moved all of their heads up so you can see the print on the front and the back. I'll push them down at the end. So yeah, again, Lego one right here. The Lele one again is the worst minifigure out of the lot. Basically, they completely skipped the metallic print. There is no metallic print here whatsoever, and the actual plastic, while it is a bit shiny, they didn't put a lot of metallic coloring in there as well. And on the back there's also two white dots that are missing. I'm not sure they didn't print it, but I think it was just covered up by the blacking because it was off-centered. The DeCool one comes very close to the Lego, but the red coloring is a bit darker and the metallic coloring is a bit lighter, a bit too light. So the closest one again is the Sheng one because it has the exact same sort of body shape from the outside. The metallic coloring is a bit brighter than the official Lego one, but it's not too far away. The red is also slightly darker than the Lego one, but not as dark, I would say, as the DeCool one. Also, you probably noticed that the molding lines on the DeCool is very obvious on top of the head there. It's like a little ring going around, and as well as the Lele one. Lego does have that a little bit, and Sheng Yuan does not have that line going on. Looking at them from the back, like I said, if you look on the head of Lele, it's completely gone. The red coloring is also very off-centered and very dark. And the same issues are on all of them on this are the same as the front. The Lele is missing all the metallic paint and all the whites are missing. So yeah. So of course the best one compared to Lego is again Sheng Yuan. I'm sorry, I know there's DeCool fans out there, but the Sheng Yuan one just comes closest. The DeCool one here is not bad. It's just slightly off. Just, you know, the DeCool one's still good, but in terms of just being the most closest to the official Lego is the Sheng Yuan one, and I also think Sheng Yuan's coloring is also quite good as well on its own. Next we have Iron Man here, and the Lele one is just the worst printed one again, and the tan coloring, it's just awful. The DeCool one is closest to the official Lego, but the plastic coloring is also slightly off, and the coloring on the leg there, just like the Lego, actually has some issues. If you look at the Sheng Yuan one, the print on the leg where the round bit ends, there's no gap there. So it's actually printed very well. Even, you know, like I said, in the official Lego, if you look at right there, the bottom of the leg, there's a little gap on the print, and that's just not cool. So Sheng Yuan actually has, again, better print than the official Lego one. There's no gaps there. And don't tell me, oh, but it's not the same Lego, so it sucks. No, don't say that. Like, that's stupid. Like, Sheng Yuan has the better print. Deal with it. Lego is expensive. They should not have problems with printing legs, especially if they've been printing legs for years now. If Lego needs to get that fixed. It's unacceptable. It's terrible. It's disgusting that, you know, a cheap bootleg can have better print than Lego. If no bootlegs can print the legs where the round bump ends with you know, properly and without any issues, then I wouldn't have an issue. Like, oh, bootlegs can't do it. But here's the thing. The bootleg can do it, and it's a lot cheaper than Lego. So Lego, step your game up and fix your bloody figure printing. But yeah, the Sheng one compared to the DeCool one, again, color-wise is the closest to the official one. The Sheng one's a bit brighter, which you know, depending if you like that or not, that's a good or bad thing. Looking at the back here, the DeCool has brighter colors on the gold. Sheng has brighter silvers, and Lele just has brighter everything, but everything is off-centered and smudged, and it's just terrible. So in terms of the back, DeCool is closest to the official again. And all of them have decent enough face prints. Now in terms of the helmet, none of them have it quite like the official one yet. Of course, if you saw my DeCool review, you know I can't plug this head all the way in. It's not all the way in because there's a bit of extra plastic on the stud at the top of the head of Tony Stark, so that's an issue. You're gonna have to cut that, sand that down. I'm not saying every box of DeCool will have that issue, but it's definitely an issue on the one that I have. Now I'm looking at the side of the helmets because till now none of the bootlegs have quite copied the helmet accurately. If you look at the side of the official LEGO helmet, you can see there's actually two little dots, bumps, molded in for, you know, sort of mechanical texture. None of the bootlegs have that. Another thing that the official LEGO one has, it actually has a bit of extra red paint there, just underneath the gold. So they paint the whole piece gold first, and then they paint the eyes in a little red there. None of them have that. Sheng just completely ignores that little sort of jaw cheek gap. Lele one is the closest molded, so if you want to paint with the edge, the little red thing, you can do that. And DeCool one kinda has it sort of half and half. And you can see here in terms of the lining, the LEGO one's actually quite soft. Lele one's the harshest, and then DeCool, and then Sheng. But the official LEGO one's quite a lot softer in terms of texture of the mold. And just look back at the front there. All of them have accurate enough like print, like it's all there, but none of them have the eyes correct. You know, LEGO has no issues with the eyes. They've actually got it right in there with the mold. DeCool is slightly lower. Sheng just sort of all over the place, and no, the Lele one's all over the place, and the Sheng one is a bit lower and a bit thicker, so it kind of looks weird and funky. So out of all this lot, again, Sheng comes second, and then DeCool, and then finally Lele, which is just ugly. So out of the 3 bootlegs, you still have some spare pieces. The Lele one does have one spare shooter for the Hulk's arm. It has one spare, you know, transparent piece and block for both Ultron and Iron Man. It has spare hands, one spare Technic connector, and one spare transparent blue arm for the back of the mask. It also does have a white hero jumper. Sheng comes with the same spares, plus it comes with an extra transparent wedge, a transparent stud. Does not have a spare connector, but instead has a spare Hulk connector. It has 2 extras and not just one Hulkbuster stud shooter thingy. DeCool comes with none of those spares. It has one extra Technic connector. It actually has a brick separator that has DeCool printed on it instead of official LEGO. It has 2 spare transparent studs, blue transparent studs, and 1 spare red transparent stud, and 1 spare flying things for Ultron, the red one. Sheng has a transparent green super jumper, and not the usual transparent white ones. So there you go. Just some comparison, the Lele one is the worst, the worst, the worst. Bad figures all around, and just bad look, bad print, bad everything. The only upside to the Lele one is that the box is the smallest, and it has a decent instruction book, and also an okay sticker sheet. So if you have all 3 in front of you, do not get the Lele one. Okay, it's not even okay. It just kind of sucks. DeCool has some problems, but has some accuracies. I'd say if you only have DeCool around, it's okay, pick it up, it's decent enough. And the best part about it is that the printed plates instead of stickers. and the stud shooters do work. The whole build process was okay. It's just the figures are a bit rough on the print, and yeah. And of course, the Sheng Yuan comes closest. It doesn't have good enough stud shooters, but with the rotating Hulk head, very nicely printed figures, and the joints seem okay. Sheng Yuan comes a close second to official Lego. Now one could say, oh, I'm going to pick up a few bootleg sets and combine them and take the perks of each one and put them together. Well, if you're going to do that, then you might as well just buy the official one. Because these things are cheaper than the official one, but they're not that much cheaper. They're about 1/3 cheaper. So you can buy 3 of these instead of one official one. So you might as well get an official one if you're going to spend that much money anyway. So there you go. Lego, Sheng Yuan, DeCool, and just forget the Lele one. If you've enjoyed this video, tell me which one you like the most, and what do you think about this comparison video. There are also 2 other bootleg companies releasing Hulkbusters, and I might take a look at them. Depends, if you leave a comment below, how many people actually want to see that, but I won't be able to compare them with all the other bootlegs because I'll be sending these away for the giveaway. Please click the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already, because you won't get the giveaway if you don't. Hink, wink, wink. And also leave a comment below, as like I said earlier. If you want to support this channel even further, you can feel free to head over to the Patreon page and make a contribution now. Thank you a lot, I appreciate it. Allow me to make more videos. If you want to see standalone reviews on each of these Hulkbusters, please feel free to look at my YouTube channel. And also look at Facebook. A lot of people post new pictures of updates of upcoming bootleg sets, so that's cool as well. You can also check out a lot of other bootleg Lego and a lot of other official Lego set reviews. So yeah, but most importantly, take care and have a nice day. Bye bye now.